CQ, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. CQ the Old Friends Net. This is WA4LLR. Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets 3 times weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. and Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. on this frequency. We conduct business in the Amplitude Modulation mode and operate in the round table format. So, stations wishing to participate in the activities today, give me a call and come down.
W4KR, good afternoon, Dave.
W4KR.
WSW.
N4LQ.
NKL.
N4IYQ.
K1VVC.
Kilo.
K4JAL.
W4KR. I had a double that was evenly matched, and I didn't get them. So, after that double, and I'll pick those 2 stations up here in a second, I've got WF2U, N4LQ, WB4NKL, N4IYQ, K1VVC, N4AK, W4MEC, and K4JAL. Now, who were the 2 that checked in right after Stan?
WB4ARK. And KN4R.
All right, I've got WB4ARK and KN4R. All righty, well, we'll put those right after Stan. Buddy, you'll come right after Stan, and Brian, you'll come right after Buddy, and you'll give it to Mir. So this is the list I have: W4KR, WB4ARK, KN4R, WF2U, N4LQ, WB4NKL, N4IYQ, K1VVC, N4AK, W4MEC, and K4JAL. Do we have any others?
WA4FJQ.
KZ4 Bravo.
All right, recognizing Tom, WA4FJQ, and recognizing John, KZ4B. Anyone else? All right, one more time down the list. KR, ARK, R, U, LQ, NKL, IYQ, VBC, AK, MEC, JAL, FJQ, and Bravo. Any other station? All right, good afternoon to everybody. Good signals all the way around thus far. We've got 52 degrees, heavy overcast, a light breeze, and still no precipitation at this point. But I am in hopes that we get some. And we certainly all need to be praying for Jamaica and eastern Cuba. That Category 5 possible looks really bad. Running the BC610C, receiving 90HQ110A. So, let's go ahead and get started. Stan, here it comes. W4KR, WA4LLR.
All right, Dave. Thank you. WA4LLR. And the old friends for Sunday afternoon. This is W4KR in suburban Walhalla. Temperature's 55 here this afternoon. At least that's what the meter says. That's what the thermometer says, I should say. Running the Viking 500 and the 183D. 183D has kept running for several days in a row. Praise the Lord. Anyway, next time I can get into it, I think I'll leave the bottom cover off. Anyway, let's see here. What else do I know? I don't know. That's about all I know right now. Let's see what the day progresses. Copied everybody that checked in, and everybody had pretty good signals. So, buddy, to you. I guess you you beat the pack there, buddy. Take it away. WB4ARK. This is W4KR.
W4KR. WB4ARK. Okay, Stan. Well, you've got a very good signal into Lake Wiley this afternoon. The weather here is heavily overcast, like Dave, and we did have a little sun earlier, but it didn't last long at all, and then it turned back to heavy clouds. Expecting rain today, but we haven't gotten any, and I don't know if we're going to get any or not. Kind of questionable. So with that, we'll turn it over to WF2U. I mean KN4R, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, very good. WB4ARK in the group, KN4R. Good afternoon to everybody. Everybody so far is booming in here. Stan, you're eliminating all the static in my receiver today. Dave is as well. So, Brian, Cheryl's Ford, 62 degrees. Hoping for some rain. We just got back from Gatlinburg. I really enjoyed riding through Burnsville and Mars Hill and Hot Springs and Marshall and all those other towns. I set up in waves. I just said don't use major highways. And we had a nice ride through the country. So took a little longer, but it was a whole lot more fun. So I'm on the GRC9 today, helped along by a little linear amplifier, running about 65 watts or so. Over to you, Mayor. WF2U in the group, KN4R.
Yeah, Roger, KN4R in the group. This is WF2U. Good afternoon, everybody. We have terrific signals and no static. The noise level is relatively low. And we had some raindrops here, but according to the weather forecast, rain is expected just about 9 p.m. and the temperature is 54 degrees and overcast. Interestingly enough, the humidity is only 75%, so that's why it's not raining yet. Anyway, I'm using the Yaesu station with the Yaesu FL2100 B amplifier, putting out about 320 watts peak. And finally, since last week, I have my end-fed halfway for 80 meters up in its original perch where the old one was before another tree destroyed it. That other tree does not exist there in the middle, so hopefully nothing is going to be knocking it down. Anyway, so that was a job and a half. I also had to put a new mast on the house to support the transformer side of it, because the old mast which was a mere TV type mast with very, very thin tubing, bent 90 degrees, so as long as the antenna was up, it was about 5 feet lower than now on the transformer side. So now I have a decent water pipe up there instead of the tin pipe. It's not going to bend. Anyway, so reports, Dave, you are 20 over 9. It's this Yaesu receiver has a little I think I have to set the S-meter with a signal generator because it's reading, I would say, probably at least 10 dB low, comparing it to another receiver, my Collins 51S1, which is calibrated. So anyway, but just going by dB, converted to dB dBm input to S units. That's what I. Brian also 15 over 9. Steve 20 over 9. And then I'll give reports for the rest of the group after this round. So, Steve, go ahead. N4LQ and the group, WF2U.
WF2U, this is N4LQ. Well, very good. Yeah, we want to get those S-meter reports right. I'm showing U mirror at S9 plus 2 on the SDR, and pretty close to that on the Drake. I did calibrate the Drake, but it's questionable. You know, they're all different, and the instructions on calibrating these things are all different too. So they really, you're better off just saying you're strong, and you're strong. I think your antenna changes did improve things. Well, Brian, we're glad you're back from your extensive travels. It seems like you were hard to keep up with, and I guess you spent a lot of time in strange places. But saw the Mars Hill Hammerland pictures, and I wasn't sure if that was something you got off of their website or off of Google or what, but apparently you actually took that. And I've seen it on, I think you can see it on Google Street View pretty well too. So I don't know what it looked like 30, 40 years ago, but probably not too much different. And well, it's 59 degrees here. It's very, very overcast. And I think we're going to start seeing some sprinkles here pretty soon. They're forecasting 1.4 inches of rain tomorrow, a little bit on Tuesday, and then another inch plus on Wednesday. So we should be in pretty good shape by the weekend. I am running the AF67, and I made some changes to the TR switch. I think that's where I was picking up some hum, and I think it's better. Let me know if you hear anything, but pause there for a second. But the microphone did go through the TR switch before it got to the transmitter, and somehow it picks up hum along its way through the switch and into the transmitter. So I went from the microphone directly into the transmitter, and then I tapped a wire in the microphone plug and just plugged it right into the input on the TR switch, so it keys the relay that way. That keeps the audio out of that TR switch. There's all kinds of nasty things going on inside that TR switch that is not good to expose the audio chain to. And I wonder if you all saw my post there about the using a way to clean the D104 crystal by using what's the I can't even think of the name of that stuff. the salts there to absorb the moisture. It looks like a good idea. And that stuff is available. It's silica gel. It's available in different colors, and the colors change as it absorbs moisture. There's a green and an orange available, so you can pour a bunch of that into a box and set the mic down in the box and then close the lid up tight for a few days. And if there's any moisture, it's supposed to change color. I've been thinking about running a frequency span on one and then drying it out and seeing if it changes any. Just sort of a crazy experiment, because I've got some that are kind of weak that I've been stashing away here, so maybe I'll try that. So let's see, goes to Cliff, WB4NKL, N4LQ.
WB4NKL running a Barefoot 7300. Our power went off here about an hour and a half ago, and I scrambled around, got a battery hooked up, and got the 7300 hooked up on battery power. And then about 5 minutes before the net come on, the power come back. So, but I thought I'd stay on here and try my emergency radio, so you might comment on how it sounds. I don't know if I've ever run this 7300 on the net before. But looks like getting about 20 watts out here on battery power. Got 63 degrees. I don't know why the power went off. I was outside and heard an explosion, and it was the fuse down here at the end of the road that blew, and so it took the power company about an hour and a half to get out here and find some trouble and replace the fuse. So back on commercial power anyway. Go ahead, Chuck. N4IYQ, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, WB4NKL and the group, N4IYQ. Good afternoon, everyone. 63 degrees here. We didn't lose power. I'm up about 4 air miles from Cliff, and it's very overcast here. Been kind of breezy. Got a few things done around here. They're going to go out and grab a sandwich here in a little while with Miss Tammy. Looking forward to Lawrenceville. Weather's looking okay. It's going to be a little cool in the mornings. I think they showed Friday morning about 41. I think Saturday morning showing 39. So bundle up, folks, or bring you a good jacket till the temperature comes up a little bit. But at the present time, it's not showing any forecast for rain. So that would be ideal for the Ham Fest. So looking forward to seeing, I guess, Stan and John. BBC will be there. And John, KZ4 Bravo, I think you usually come. So any of the rest of you we maybe get to see, we look forward to it. On to you, John. K1VVC and 4IYQ.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chuck. And 4IYQ on the group, K1VVC. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I was just looking at the extended weather forecast, and you're right, the weather should be cold but okay. You know, certainly been there in some terrible weather, but this looks like just a little bit cold. And everybody's coming through fine. I'm using a new antenna today. Well, first of all, I'm using the Viking 500 and receiving on ITT Mackie 3010C. And I'm using a double bazooka antenna for 75 and 80 meters. It's a commercially made one that I picked up at the Rock Hill Ham Fest. And the center's at about 60 feet, and the ends are at about 50 feet. And I worked most of the morning getting it put on my tower, and it seems to be fine with low SWS. So if everybody's hearing me, I guess it's working okay. With that, I'll turn it over to Glenn. N4AK from K1VVC.
November 4 Alpha Kilo over here at Sunset, 60 degrees, cloudy all day. Looks like we're going to have some rain through Thursday. And I guess you're right. We better be praying for Jamaica. It looks like they're going to take a hit. I don't know how the country's prepared for them, but I'm sure they've had it before. I'm just running an FCDX10 and SP300. I got about 100 watts out here today. And Cliff, WB4NKL, you're 15/9, superior AM sound. And the strongest signal is about 20/9, so that's always amazing. There's not much difference, and you're running 20 watts. So, John, you're 20/9, and LLR's 20/9. So everybody's about the same signal strength, believe it or not. I just picked up something on the internet. It was an interesting read. It's about World War II and the crystals. Back then, it was kind of tough to stay on frequency, and the Germans really had a problem because they only had 1 million crystals, and the United States had produced 30 million for their radios. So it became very important in tank warfare. I think we use a BC603, if I remember correctly. That's one of the radios. It was FM push button. So the Germans were often having trouble staying on frequency, and their radio operators were getting confused about the frequency. And the push button with the crystals was really a tremendous advantage. So US 30 million, Germany only produced 1 million. I thought that was pretty interesting. Moving on down the line to you, Charlie, W4MEC and 4AK.
Okay, N4AK and the group, W4MEC. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I was kind of trying to pick and choose who to zero beat against. And zeroed on John, 100 cycles low. I didn't want to zero on Glenn, he was off on the edge. Anybody, anyway, everybody's coming in strong. That's the limit of my S-meter reading. Everybody's 20 over, how about that? Because I got a Lion S-meter on this SX100. It was spitting rain here about an hour ago. I was finishing sorting out or breaking down cardboard boxes and paper and putting it all in the back of my truck to take to recycle. And I got spit on a little bit, but it stopped. And whether we get that rain or not, I don't know. It's got to get over the mountains. And yeah, I would say that Cuba and Jamaica and Puerto Rico, they probably know how to handle a hurricane. You know, and from little simple ones to Category 5, looks like the jet stream is going to bend that thing back out to the northeast. It doesn't seem to be coming this way. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, you mentioned the thing about crystals there, Glenn, and I was reading about how, you know, our crystals, yeah, we made a lot of them, but a lot of them, by the time it got across the ocean, they didn't work anymore. They had a terrible time with reliability, especially the FT, is it 221s? The ones that go in that tank radio. The one that's got the 2 screws on the top and the cap. And AT&T figured out what the problem was in the mid-1930s. They knew exactly what was wrong with the crystals, but they weren't in the business of making crystals during the war, and they didn't know the crystal manufacturers were having the problem. So they never offered up the solution, and no one ever asked them to solve it. But they already had solved it, you know, 5 or 6 years before the war. And around 1944, another group figured out what was wrong, and at some big get-together, AT&T says, "Oh, we figured that out in 1934." So, that's why it's quite an interesting story to read about World War II communications in amongst the Allies. So, And let's see, Friday was my grandson's 12th birthday, so we had a party for him Friday evening. But what was interesting is a good friend of my son came over from Raleigh because he was showing his son, they were making a tour of colleges, and I'm sitting here going, no, that can't be true, because I remember clearly, actually, my son met his future wife at his friend's wedding, because the friend's fiance had this girlfriend that, showed up at the wedding, and I guess Matt sort of fell for her. Here we are, I don't know how many years, a whole bunch of years later. They're married, but the fact that kid is 18 years old is just scary. So, anyway, let's see. It goes down to Jimmy. K4JAL, W4MEC.
W4MEC, K4JAL. Well, your signal came up really good there toward the end, but I think you needed to swallow the microphone more on the front end there. And I was having trouble reading Glenn, too. Maybe it's just me, but Cliff was 40 over on this Little Drake 2A. I guess I need to calibrate the S meter, but anyway, great signal, Cliff, on that 7300. Not much going on around here. We're hoping for rain. Hadn't started yet. It's about 53 degrees. And with that, I'll hand it over to Tom. WA4FJQ, K4JAL.
K4JAL, WA4FJQ. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, Tom here in High Point, and running the PMR8 and the AF68 into the Centurion amp up into a brand new 80 meter in-fed tune for this frequency, and having a fairly hard time with lots of noise. The automatic noise limiter A&L on the PMR8 helps some, but of interest, and if you can explain it to me, please do. The stronger stations, Steve and so forth, and Cliff, I've got the RF gain turned all the way off. It's fully counterclockwise, and they're coming in nice and strong. So it looks like the AF section, or rather the RF section on this receiver is running wide open or whatever. But some QSB couldn't copy Glenn, couldn't copy one other station there. But Charlie, W4MEC, was pretty weak, but came up there a little bit. But at any rate, give me a signal report, any of you can hear me, and see how this new in-fed is doing. It's pretty noisy, I know that. I can switch back and forth to some of the other antennas that are not cut for 80, and you can just see a 10 to 15 dBm drop between those antennas and this in-fed. So I'll turn it down to John, KZ4B. This is WA4FJQ.
Okay, WA4FJQ in the group, KZ4B, fine business there. You're one of the strongest signals today. I'd say probably you and Cliff is weak. I'd say you and Steve are probably about the two strongest here. We're experiencing a lot of QS Baker. So if our antenna situation is not squirrely, then it must be propagation. The noise level is non-existent. It's below S0. So usually that's propagation. And because our base noise level here after the big fix has been about S5. That's normally about as good as it gets, but today it's less than S0, and most signals are down from what they usually run. But it's affecting everybody the same. And on the crystals, that was very interesting. I knew that the Germans, apparently there were a bunch of crystal mines, I think in Brazil and other places in South America, and we jumped on those with both feet, and that gave us the source of a lot of crystals. And that was definitely an advantage to actually be on frequency. I laugh about that because that's a challenge today, but nothing like what it was. And of course, crystals today have solved the problem like they did in yesterday with the master crystal and all the digital signal processing and etc. I was late getting on today. I almost missed it. I had done some rearranging in the shack, which required me to disconnect the T150. And I had labeled the wires on my TR switch, and one of the labels was not spot on, and it had me confused, and it took me almost to the end of the startup to get that straightened out. But I did, and I'm going to change the labeling so that it says, "Hey, stupid, put this wire where it belongs." As usual, we met the enemy, and it is us. Anyway, propagation does seem, from this location, to be a little bit off. Strong signals are not as strong as they have been, but can be very strong and very steady. And then other stations can have a lot of QS Baker. Like normally Dave just pounds in here. He's one of the strongest. And today there was a lot of QS Baker on Dave. So I think it's a matter of, what kind of ionosphere is perked over your QTH. I think that has a lot to do with it. So I think I'm tail end Charlie. So back to Dave, and hopefully as the day wears on, things will improve. And by the way, I am going to Berryville, Lord willing. So I'll be there so I can freeze along with all the rest of the guys early in the morning. WA4LLR and the group KZ4B, over.
Okay, John, I think you meant Lawrenceville, not Berryville. I think Berryville's already been, but maybe I'm dreaming. Alrighty, let me see. Do we have any other check-ins? Come now.
WA4EVK.
Recognizing Mr. WA4EVK. Anyone else? Okay, Boone, go ahead and tell us something and give it back to me. WA4EVK, WA4LLR.
Not too much here. It's about 58 degrees here in Pickens, trying to rain like a lot of other places. Band is kind of mixed deal. I've got QSB on about half the signals. Just typical, really. Maybe a little bit more mixed results propagation-wise. FJQ, you had a signal of about 5 over. So I think you were asking for a signal report. Not much other than that. Back to you, Dave. WA4LLR, WA4EVK.
All right, fine business, Boone. WA4EVK, WA4LLR. One more standby. Anyone else? All right, I guess we got everybody for the moment. Let's see. Not much QSB here. I guess I'm in the catbird seat. I've got everybody really strong. And John, the recabling woes. Yeah, I've got so many cables. I'm afraid to take any of them loose, to be honest with you. I've got some of them labeled and some of them aren't, so it would be a circus if I pulled everything loose and started rearranging that I need to. Tom, you're 30 over. A loud signal here, and the 80-meter in fed's working well for you. And Cliff, your 20 watts, like Jimmy said, are 40 over here. So that 7300's doing a great job. Jimmy, good to hear you this evening. You're sounding good. Charlie, congratulations or happy birthday to your grandson on his 12th birthday. And yes, I know. Time flies, brother. Oh, I was just thinking, let's see, my daughter turns 50 in February. So, yeah. I know how it goes. Glenn, good afternoon to you. And the FTDX-10 sounds great and interesting about our superior crystal production in World War II. John, the Dope Bazooka's doing a good job. You've got a good strong signal up here today. And Cliff, you're blasting. Chuck, you're blasting in. And it does sound like it's going to be a chilly start to Lawrenceville, but at least no rain. And Cliff, I don't know. I've threatened to get me a 7300 for quite some time. They've got one of the, well, I honestly believe that for a current technology radio, they've got the best sounding AM of any of them out there. Had a great visit with you and your lovely wife Saturday, and enjoyed going out to eat. Chuck, well, let's see, yeah, I said you were blasting in. Steve, the F67 sounds super to me. I'm not hearing any problems whatsoever. And Mir, the Yesu's doing a good job. The Fed's back up. Glad to hear that. Thank you for the signal report. And Brian, glad you had a good trip to Gatlinburg and a good deal on coming through Marshall and Mars Hill and on down. And yeah, I've been to the old Hammerland plant many times. I spent 4 years there at Mars Hill. Well, let's see, Mars Hill University now. So we could almost see it from the college. And Buddy, booming in up here today. And Stan the Johnson 500 sounds good. Yeah, I've not delved into mine yet. Cliff and I were talking about it, and it may be the high voltage relay because it keys. I got plenty of grid drive, but no plate current showing. So I've got to tear into it, I guess, and see what I can find out. Space weather, sunspot count's 89, solar flux index is 134, and the K is 1. So everything's pretty stable. A few items from this day in history. On this day in 1825, the Erie Canal opened for business. On this day in 1881, the feud between the Earp brothers and the Clantons escalated to the gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. On this day in 1958, America's first jetliner, the Boeing 707, entered service for Pan American World Airways. On this day in 1947, Hillary Clinton was born. On this day in 2001, George Bush signed the Patriot Act into law, and we're surveilled to the max. So let's go back down the list. Stan, here it comes. W4KR, WA4LLR.
Oh, right, Dave, WA4LLR, W4KR. Well, Cliff, the 7300, I echo what Dave just said. That's first of all, you were loud. You're about 30 over 9. Seemed like about a normal signal from you, and the audio is just super. Yeah, they do a good job. 7300s do sound good on AM. Dave, there is a new version of the 7300 coming out. So they may be, if you want one of the old ones and want a new one, there may be some price breaks. I don't know, and I don't know where the new one's going to be priced, but I expect to be up a few hundred. A lot of radio for that kind of money, I'll tell you. Let's see. Covered that. Chuck, I wonder when you going down to Lawrenceville Friday? I think I'll leave about the early afternoon, and it takes to Lawrenceville about an hour, a little less than an hour to get there from here, something like that. And I'll get checked in, and we can talk about dinner. Let me see. Everybody's signal, everybody sounded similar. Conditions were good, little QSB, but everybody was between S9 and 20 over, and just a pleasure to sit back, kick back, and listen. Speaking of listening, one change I made with the rig this week is I got the reproducer on the air here. The old Helicrafters S40, the R42 reproducer is on the tail end of the 183D, and maybe that's what makes everybody sound so good. I'm not quite sure. Buddy, back to you, and carry on there, my friend. WB4ARK. This is W4KR.
Okay, Stan, W4KR, WB4ARK. Well, there's very, very little QSB. I really have noticed that weaker stations cause or seem to be affected by QSB more so than strong stations. And Cliff's signal was a little bit less, I'd say strong, but your signal was quite readable. I mean, it was. I would say it's very good, and no QSB. 62 degrees here. And we have, I guess that's about it weather-wise. I've worked with crystals for quite a long time. FT 243 crystals, which Charlie mentioned as being problematic during World War II. It seems that none of the BC 611s that I have had over the years, which I still have many of those units and worked on quite a few, never had any issues with crystal problems. The BC 1000, which used one crystal for calibration, it didn't have any issues, and so I wonder where that information came from, or where that idea came from. About the problems with the crystals, and I mean the ARC 5s. I've never had any issues with the calibration crystals in the ARC 5s either. And let's see, everybody's signal is quite strong today, and the band is very quiet, so that's nice. I guess that's about all I've got right now. So it looks like I'm about 100 KC high. So we'll say 73 at this point. Everybody have a great rest of the Sunday, and look forward to seeing everybody on the air on Tuesday after all this rain gets here. Seems to be getting a little darker in the west. KN4R, WB4ARK.
buddy, very good. WB4ARK in the group, KN4R. Well, buddy, I hope you get lots of rain down your way. I hope everybody gets as much rain as they want. And I've got my fingers crossed here. So let's see, going down the list. Everybody sounds just great. Cliff, it's amazing how well you sound over here at 25 watts versus your normal 300 or so watts. But sounds good. Audio sounds good. It's nice that you have a emergency setup there with the battery. That's terrific. And Steve, very interesting on the silica gel changing colors. That would be interesting, and I think you should go ahead and get some and try out some microphones and let us know, because I don't know if that works for carbon or not. I think carbon just sticks together or something, but anyway, let's see, going down the list. Happy birthday to your grandson, Charlie. And Tom, you're just booming in here. In fact, you always boom in here, so I think the distance between you and me are really good, and your audio is just very, very potent. You could probably even turn it back just a little bit, but not to say you're not distorting or anything. And thanks for the information about the Hammerlin plant. Yeah, I went by there just to track it down. I was hoping it was still on Hammerlin Drive, but it's on Hickory Drive instead now. And Dave, Roger on the Category 5. That's going to be terrible. Even if they are ready for it, they're not ready for that. So. And let's see, it's crystals. I read somewhere where the Germans only started the war with about 2 tons of raw crystal material. Of course, we got with Brazil quickly and bought up everything so that the Germans couldn't buy any. And I've also read that the good stuff, the best grade crystals, at least at first, went by air. And the lesser grade crystals, lesser grade quartz went by ship because they were losing ships at the time. And I don't know how long that continued, but we definitely had a monopoly on the crystal stuff. So let's see, I'm just scanning. I think John, the double bazooka must be doing well because you're sounding just fine up here. So I'll hang in for one more. Back to you, Mir, WF2, you in the group, KN4R.
Yeah, Roger, very good. Brian, pretty good signal, typical GRC9 sound. I know how mine sounds, and it's nice to hear. And so everybody here, the weakest signal was actually Cliff at S9. Doing a great job with low power, and everybody else was, I'm not going to list individually, but between 10 over to 20 over, and everywhere in between. Some had a little QSB between 10 and 20. It was like swinging all the way. But conditions are really not bad at all. So anyway, waiting for the rain tonight. I hope when I walk out of here, I go to the house, I'm not going to be dodging the raindrops. And otherwise, projects, I have a few things to do in the shack. I still can't move boat anchors that weigh more than 50 pounds until January. That's what my back surgeon said. And after that, I can lift as much as I can, as much as I want. Mainly what I can. Not for nothing, I call my shack here as my weight room. But anyway, I'm glad this antenna is working. I'm looking around for a tree that might be higher than this side, even if I need to use a little bit of rope. I have several trees that might be about 10 foot higher. And when I feel like it, I'll try to shoot up a line there to pull up the other side of the end fed. In the meantime, I have an air gun that I bought ready-made, but I have a few things that I know that I can improve, and I'm in the process of building a new one, and with a little bit more pressure and an electric air valve instead of having to manipulate a valve manually and release the air probably a little slower than it could be released. I'm going to use an electric valve with a solenoid and a push button for trigger, and that will give that pressure much faster than the manual valve. That's one of the things, and I might, as I said, I'll increase the pressure a little bit. Right now I'm working with about 40 to 60 psi to shoot up to about 40 to 50 feet. I know that with a better valve it might be increasing the height at least another 10 foot. So anyway, it's almost built. I just need another piece of plastic tubing, a 3/4 inch, and now I'll be ready to go with that. So, just in case we don't get to another round, I'll say my 73s now, but I'll be standing by until the end, the official end of the net. So everybody have a nice evening and good signals, and it goes to John, J1 VVC and the group. This is WFTU.
Yeah, I think not, Mir. I think it goes to somebody else.
I think it goes to me. WF2U. Yeah, you skipped me and Cliff and Chuck. So okay, let's see here. See N4LQ and comment on first on the signal strength of Tom. It is ridiculous. You were the strongest by far. I mean, not just a little bit, but you're 35 over 9, and the other strongest just a little over 20. But that's amazing. I don't know. There's some kind of pipeline. You're always strong here, but that was insanely strong. The noise you're talking about, it may just be the efficiency of the antenna. I mean, that'll bring up the noise just as much as it will the signal. And what's important is the ratio between the two, the noise versus the signal. And you switch over to some antenna that's not cut for this band and not tuned, then naturally the noise will go down in proportion to the signal strength. And it'll sound like your noise went down because it's probably down below your AGC threshold or something. But I'd say you did a good job, Tom. Charlie's audio is a little bit low, so you might want to turn it up some, but I mean the audio was beautiful. So let's see, did I have anything else? Yeah, and of course the double bazooka sounds okay too, John. FT243, I looked it up. FT actually means something. It stands for frequency transmitting. It's a military designator, and 243 is the number of the holer. Well, I don't know what that means. The IC7300, which indeed does sound great on AM, the new one coming out, Gigapart says that the retail price will be from $14.99 to $17.99. The current price on the 7300 is exactly $1,000. So that's an increase unless they have a sale, which eventually they will, I guess. There's a bunch of advantages to the new model. They've improved the RMDR and the phase noise, lowered the heat generated. It's got an HDMI video port on it now, which it had none before, so you can connect it to a big monitor. The CW decoder, which it did not have. It's got an Ethernet port for remote control, which it didn't have. USB-C, which it didn't have. And receive antenna in and out. That's something that was really needed, and so that puts it up there with some of the bigger rigs, and it'd be hard to beat this thing. If I was thinking about buying one, of course, who knows, they may have ruined AM on it. You just never know. So with that, we'll go ahead and say 73s. We're not going to have time to do another round at this rate, so hope to see somebody tonight on 160. Should be a good night. WB4NKL on the 7300, N4LQ.
WB4NKL still on 7300 with battery power. These batteries haven't been charged, and I don't know when. They're a couple of 6-volt, 150 amp batteries in series, and 13 years old. So I was wanting to test them here anyway. But I'm going to try to. I've got a couple of solar panels I need to put out here on the roof and use that to charge them with, and then I have a true off-the-grid backup power source. So I might do that before winter, before we have more power outages. And they seem to be. I was worried that the batteries being this old would deteriorate, but they seem to be holding right up there on the voltage. So they might have a few more years left in them. Had good signals from everybody. Everybody's coming in great here. Tom was blasting in, big signal, and John, the double bazooka, doing a great job too. Just good conditions. Thanks for all the reports on the 7300, and I hope they. I'd be real interested in one of the new ones, but I'd like to find out if they've screwed with the AM. Be interesting to find out before I bought one. So have to find out about that. And Dave, it was nice to have you and Irvina here yesterday. Enjoyed it, and the company and the fellowship at the meal. So we'll have to do that again. I'll say 73s, like somebody was saying. It's time we get back around. It'd probably be on the late side. So enjoyed it, and thanks again for everything, Dave. Go ahead, Chuck. N4IYQ. It's WB4NKL.
Okay, WB4NKL in the group, N4IYQ. Well, Stan, I'll reach out. I was going to reach out to you and John. I think we'll probably try to get down there about maybe 2:30 Friday afternoon and hook up a spot and put the tables out. I'm going to take some rope and some stakes. Maybe we can get a bunch of us close together. We're staying about 15 minutes from the fairground at a Comfort Suites on Riverside Parkway. Cliff's not going to get to make the trip. He's got a wedding to go to. So it'll be W4WWC Mark with me. And there'll be a bunch of others, so maybe we can all hook up and have a whole row of us there. So I'll reach out probably tomorrow. We'll see what we can plan. Certainly is good to hear everybody. Everybody's just booming in here. Great signals. I'm not having any QSB over here. Look forward to seeing those of you that are coming to Lawrenceville at Lawrenceville. So best of 73, Dave. Thanks for calling the net as always. Always appreciate the net control. It's down to you, John. We'll be in touch. K1VVC, N4IYQ. Good day.
Yeah, very good. N4IYQ, K1VVC. Looking forward to seeing you down there. I'll probably get there about the same time on Friday afternoon. I would want to mention something about crystals in World War II. there is a wonderful book called Crystal Clear, The Struggle for Reliable Communications Technology in World War II, published by the IEEE Press. And I've read it a couple of times, and as I opened the cover today, there was a little handwritten note inside from August 27th, 2021. John, thanks for the loan of this most interesting book. So many little but important things contributed to the U.S. winning World War II. 73, Glenn N4AK. Do you remember that, Glenn? N4AK, K1VVC.
N4AK. Yeah, you jogged my memory. And I just happened to see that on the internet today. And, gee whiz, it's been a while. All the signals are good, but I want to give Tom a report. Tom, you were 20 over 9 in sunset, so very good job with your antenna and everything. Thanks, Dave, for calling the net. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, Charlie to you, W4MEC, N4AK.
W4MEC, real good. Well, I didn't mention FT243. FT221A is the one that was very troublesome, and that was one used in that tank transmitter. But Brazilian quartz was it. That's the #1 quartz. It still is. Interesting, when Clinton came along and his ability to save the government money, he found out that the U.S. government was still buying and stockpiling both quartz and bakelite. And that was in the 1990s. So they finally stopped buying quartz and bakelite, apparently, to stockpile it. Apparently they had some serious reserves of that material in warehouses all over the place. I was wondering what they did with it. Did they sell it surplus? I don't know. Silica gel, the crystals, you know, we use those things all the time in dryers for waveguide stuff, and just using compressed air, about 5 pounds of air, dry air, was effective and cheaper than using nitrogen or something. But that was mostly for low power stuff. We did use what was it, nitrogen or something on the big radars when we ran megawatts. That was a different animal, but the silica would change color. Ours was blue when it was new, and it changed pink. And all you had to do was take it out, dump it on a cookie sheet, and cook it for a couple of hours at 200 degrees and make it blue again. So 1 can of that would last just about forever. And we just heat it back up and dry it and put it back in the canisters. And the canisters were clear plexiglass, so you could watch them slowly change color. So let's see, 50 PSI on your launcher. Amir, I built my launcher, and when I first experimented with it, I used a bicycle pump to pump it up, and I'd read it with a gauge. And I didn't know what I was doing, so the first time I did some test shots, and I said, well, maybe 60 PSI is good enough. I shot that thing, and it came down about 2 weeks later, so that thing went out of sight. And mine is the bullet is a piece of 3/4 inch PVC with a cap on each end and a eye bolt on the end to tie the string to. But I kid you not, 60 pounds, it's gone. And about 35 to 40 was about all I ever needed, and that would clear a tree over 100 feet tall easy with a fishing line. You know, I use a 100-pound test fishing line and launch that, and then would pull builder's twine with that fishing line, and then the builder's twine I'd hook to a bigger to the rope that would hold the antenna up. But boy, yeah, 60 pounds. That was that's NASA space shuttle level there, you know. So that's about it, and for me too. But I will last till the end here when I get the official bye-bye, and we'll see you fellas on Tuesday morning. K4JAL, W4MEC, 730.
W4MEC, K4JAL. Well, you learn something every time you get on with this net. I never knew bakelite was a mineral. I thought it was a concoction. So there you go. David was talking about the 707 in Pan Am. I left Travis Air Force Base in 65 and landed at Tonsanute on a 707 and fell in love with every one of those pretty little hostesses. That's what they called them back in those days. That's a good way to go to a war. Anyhow, Brian, thanks for the war story you sent me. Very interesting. I got one of my own. Tom, you were 35 over here in crystal clear. Amazing. So that's about it for me. Over to you, WA4FQU FJQ. I'll get it right. K4JAL 73.
K4JAL, WA4FJQ. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, Brian and Glenn, thanks for the comments on the signal strength coming out of here. And Steve, the same thing. Yeah, your comments about the reduction in noise from the antenna could just be due to antenna efficiency, no question about it. But this QTH, as I've said many, many times, has got just an average S9 noise level here. The power lines are all around me, and the radio station up the street. You can hear a boom boom in the background and all that kind of stuff. But at any rate, and Mir, your signal up here today was good. No problem copying at all, so it's come up quite a bit. And usually I have a hard time pulling out of the noise up here. But at any rate, thanks, Dave, for running the net, and it looks like this rig is working pretty well. If I can just get the local noise under control, I'd have it made. So let me turn it down to John, and we'll say 73s, and hopefully be on next Sunday. KZ4B, this is WA4FJQ.
Okay, WA4FJQ in the group KZ4B. Tom, your audio is just fantastic. You don't always have the strongest carrier, although it's usually quite strong, but the audio is just spectacular. And Brian, thanks for the nice signal report there. You're coming in quite well today yourself. Thanks for calling the net, Dave. And looking forward to Lawrenceville, just not the cold weather that always comes with it free of charge. But it'll warm up later in the morning anyway. So if you're still there, Boone, pick it up. If not, I guess it goes back to Dave. WA4EDK in the group, KZ4B over and clear. But listen.
KZ4B in the group, WA4EVK. Yeah, still here, John, but this is going to be my last round. Got an early dinner call, and that has got my attention. So I'm going to say 73s to everybody, and hope to see some of you on the 160 net tonight, 8 o'clock. And we'll go from there. I believe I'm the last in the lineup that I have down, so I'm going to send it back to Dave. WA4LLR to take it, WA4EVK.
All right, fine business, Boone. WA4EVK, WA4LLR. All righty, real good. Well, let's see here. Charlie, I have one of those potato gun type launchers, and I remember the first time I tried it, I was talking to a friend of mine and asking him about what pressure he blew his up to, and he said, well, I don't know, 40, 50 pounds. And I had a real tall tree that I wanted to see if I could get a string over, so I blew mine up to 75 pounds. And I still don't know if that projectile has ever come down. I never found it again. Mir, take care of your back, buddy. You don't be grabbing them 50-pound radios just yet. Give it a little time. And let's see what else. Not much more. So, gentlemen, I guess the sidebanders are about to move in, and it's 10 after 6, so we'll go ahead and call it a day. I certainly appreciate everybody's participation. Lord willing, we'll get together again on Tuesday, so 7-3, God bless, and keep the folks in Jamaica in your prayers, and Eastern Cuba. This is WA4LLR.